Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. I have been looking forward to doing this live all week. All week. You are in for a treat and you are going to have your socks knocked off. We are here on day 5 and we are going to be interviewing live my very good friend and colleague Sara, who has literally 360 degreed her life. She has made significant changes in a year by putting herself first and by investing in herself. And so I'm really excited for each and every one of you to get to meet her, to hear her story, and to learn from her, how she made this shift, because it really is phenomenal, 100%. And so while we're waiting for her to join, just a gentle reminder that the virtual vision board party is for tomorrow. And so if you have not registered yet, you do need to register. And so what I would say is just go to the announcement section of this group. That is where you will find the link to register for this virtual Zoom party, which we're hosting tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How is everyone doing? How are we all doing with the homework? How are we all doing, with the workbook, with the live videos? Do we have any questions? Just wanted to do a quick check-in just to see how we're all doing. Okay, I think she's wanting to ask questions. It's really important. This is your time. Hello!
Hello!
Oh, I am so excited to see you here, Sara, and
Hi.
for my community to get to meet you and hear your story.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you absolutely fine.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. Sabrina,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I think that I really truly feel blessed that you're taking time today to join us here and to really just kind of share your story. So thank you so much, Sara. I really do appreciate that. So
It's my
what
absolute
I wanted
pleasure.
to kind of start off. Yeah. So I've already kind of introduced you to everybody while I was waiting for you to join. And so what I think would be really, really powerful is, can you start off by maybe describing your journey over the past year? Because it has been short of none, just phenomenal, right? And so really want to hear from you, where you were last Christmas to where you are in this current moment.
Awesome. Absolutely. So last year, my husband and I decided to pick up, sell all of our stuff, and move across the country to really live out our dream life. Well, that dream bubble bursted real fast, because when you buy a house, and we bought a house online, so sight unseen, so everything that can go wrong usually does go wrong. So we spent our first year fixing up our house. I lost my network marketing company. I lost all my confidence. My husband working a job he didn't like, and we went $100,000 in debt in less than a year. Like, it was crazy how fast we went into debt. And so last Christmas, not even Christmas, in October, we were borrowing money to keep the heat on. Like, we were in such a bad spot. We were constantly in the red, checks bouncing. I remember, I'll never forget, my property taxes bouncing, and I have to call and I say, oh, the money's there now. Could you take it out on Friday? And then I have to make sure that there was enough money on Friday. So we were constantly bouncing checks. Insufficient fund fees were coming out every week. We were in the red. It was awful. So Christmas came around, and I said to my husband that we can't do it. We can't even afford a Christmas tree, babe. Like, that's what I said. And I was talking to my best friend at the time, who was lending me money. She was giving me money every month to keep the heat on, because it's expensive to keep the heat on here. And she said, here's $50, go get a Christmas tree. So I spent 25 and I got the smallest tree on the lot. And my husband and I used the other 25 to get bread, eggs, and milk. And that's how we spent our Christmas. And I'll never
Wow.
forget the look, Sabrina, Christmas morning in his eyes. My husband's love language is giving gifts. He loves it. He wants to give
Mhm.
gifts to anybody and everybody. Strangers, he gives gifts to. And Christmas morning, the look in his eyes when he couldn't hand me a gift was just heartbreaking. The tears in his eyes and the tears in
Mm.
my eyes. Oh, I'm gonna have tears right now.
I know, like, as you're explaining it, like I'm getting choked up. Like it's just, it's unbelievable. And, I think that's what makes your story so powerful, right? Because people oftentimes, people that we come across in the work that we do, they feel like they are at their lowest of the low, and they are in so much despair and they don't really know how they can get out of it. And so that's why I think your story is powerful, because you were at your all-time low and you were able to shift.
Yep,
You were able to do that shift that you needed.
yep. And you know,
Yeah.
being in the online world, we put up a persona that everything's okay, right? Like we
Yes.
show up like everything is okay, but really on this side of the camera, it wasn't okay. I wasn't doing good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so let's kind of walk us through this journey. So you were at that point where you were at your lowest. At what point did you make a decision? How did you come to that decision and what was that decision?
So Christmas Day,
Mm-hmm.
I turned to my husband. I said, we cannot be in this position next year. I said, what can we
Yeah.
do to get out of this position? Like we can't do Christmas like this again next year. It was actually, we were talking about moving back. Like we would have had to give up everything and move back. And we didn't want to do that because this is really where we wanted to be. So I had purchased a budget book, and I'm pretty sure I still have it. I have it somewhere here. I purchased a budget book, and I spent from Christmas Day to New Year's Eve writing out my entire year on where all the money went and creating a plan to get out of that within the next 5 years. My first goal,
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina, raise the credit score because we couldn't get a credit card.
Yes.
Like, so that was the first goal. So made that beautiful plan, which kind of makes you feel really depressed because you see all the negative. You're
Mm-hmm.
continually writing out like negative 3,000, negative 5,000, negative 2,000. You're like, oh my gosh, like how are we going to make this money each month to get out
Mm-hmm.
of this? So January came and we started couponing and budgeting and paying what we can here and there and really taking as minimal as we can on that interest payment, basically just paying interest in the line of credit. And then February came around and we were still in the exact same spot. We're in the
Mm-hmm.
exact same spot. So I've been following Kathleen for a while and I reached out to her and I said, I need help. What I'm doing is not working.
Mm-hmm.
And then my whole life changed. And then I
Yeah.
manifested so many amazing people into my life. And it was like a ripple effect. You
Yes.
change your mindset just a little bit and everything else comes with it.
Yes. Yeah.
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 It was just unbelievable.
Yeah. And so how has investing into yourself and, taking thinking into results, how has that impacted your life? How is it different really from any other kind of personal development, avenues that you've experienced before in the past?
So I am a personal development junkie. 20 years,
Mhm.
podcasts, books. I remember listening on cassettes. Yes, I had cassettes. I am that old. On cassettes and on they had DVDs. So Tony Robbins had this
Mhm.
beautiful DVD that you could get at the library. So I am not new to the personal development world at all. But I wasn't. Nothing was sticking. Like
Yes.
you read it, you get excited, and then it goes away. You go to an event, you get excited, and then it goes away. So you get this like little kind of high for a little bit, but then it goes away. Thinking into
Right.
results had me on that high vibration, has me, because I'm still doing it, on that high vibration every single day. It really taught me to figure out the relationship with myself, not
Yes.
figure out how I can fix myself, not figure out how I can fix the situation I'm in. It was to figure out who is Sara.
Mhm.
And once I figured that out, everything changed.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how has it changed for you? Give us a little snippet.
So I joined in February with still negative in my account, still actually now at this point I'm over $100,000 in debt because the interest is accrued so much that I'm way past the limit. And so I begged my friend to lend me the money. I said, I need to do this. I need to change this. If you do this for me, I promise I'll pay you back within the next year. I promise, I promise. So she lent me the money. I got in, and Sabrina, I swear every single door opened for me. I got a letter in the mail stating I could renew my mortgage early with no penalty. So we rolled in the line of credit. So that was gone. No longer have to worry about that debt anymore. That was completely gone. Then I got a check in the mail for $3,500 from an old employer. And I called my husband because I'll never forget. I said, can you call and make sure this is real? Can you check to make sure this is real? Like before I put this in our bank? And then he got a check for $8,000 from the same, because we worked at the same place. So it was like this ripple effect. Then I got a job doing something that I loved. I became a virtual assistant because now we're moving to an online age. We're moving into a pandemic now. So I start working with Kathleen and I become her virtual assistant. And then doors just kept opening up. I started getting more checks in the mail. I got credits on my bills. I remember one month I didn't have to pay my cell phone bill. Like I just got a credit. And I not once during this pandemic did I ever put my mortgage on hold. Did I ever put any bills on hold? I did not apply for CERB. I did not apply for EI. My husband joined me in April on Thinking Into Results, and he retired him because I was doing really well that I could support us. And he said, should I apply for EI? And I said, no, we don't need it.
Yeah. 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 And it's all about the energy that you're putting out too, right? Because if you then apply, you're telling the universe that this is something that you need. And then that's the energy that you're going to receive in turn. Right?
Exactly.
Fabulous. It's so good. You know, I really want to touch upon like mental health too, right? Because I know that that has been something that you've struggled with in the past. So how has this helped your mental health?
So I suffered from severe depression to the point where I have thought of taking my life multiple times. And I had really bad anxiety where I had to go to the hospital because I thought my heart was not beating properly. And I just never believed in medication. Like it's just not something that I ever wanted to do to my body. I didn't want to alter who I was. I always believed, well, this is who I am. I'm meant to be this. But it wasn't until I again started learning that relationship with who I really am. I'm not my name, I'm not my body. This is just what was given to me. But figuring out who I truly am, deep down inside, learning affirmations, which is so important, reading about myself, creating my self script, my power script, my creating the life that I want, working from backwards. Sara, with all her goals met, isn't depressed. She doesn't have anxiety. She wants to live and enjoy life. Like I went from wanting to die to my goal is to live to 104 now. So I truly believe that this can change all aspects of our lives. I've seen my husband last year who was so depressed. Now he's like happy and he's healthy and he's like jacked. He's working out like crazy. Like it's amazing.
So benefits for you too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what, Sara, I want to thank you for being vulnerable because it's sometimes hard to talk about those things, but I think people need to hear it because these are the true stories. Like these are real people. Like we're real people that have made a decision, and in making that decision, we took back our life. And so I think that's really, really important.
Yeah. I agree because I think we get lost in, in the celebrity status. We get lost in, Tony Robbins had it easy, or Wayne Dyer had it easy, or Eric Murray had it easy. But if you go back, like let's go back to Thomas Edison. He was kicked out of school when he was 2 years old. They sent a letter home with him that he couldn't read. And his mom told a little white lie saying, oh, you're too smart for school. They don't have enough curriculum for you. But really, they said that he wasn't smart enough. But we don't think about that when we turn our lights on, right? He was just by a little telling yourself, changing that mindset that I'm really smart, I am capable. Be creative electricity. People don't
I know.
realize, Oprah, right? Oprah was a young Black woman who was raped in an era where, being a woman and being Black, like the statistics of her being any type of accomplishment were very, very low, but she didn't let that stop her. Tony
Yes.
Robbins. Tony Robbins, a lot of people don't realize that he was beaten senseless by his mom until he bled from
Yes.
the head. Wayne Dyer grew up in foster homes. Joe Vitale was homeless in a car. But we don't think
Yeah.
about these things. We just see the current status. We don't see where it came from. But we're all real people. We just make a decision that we don't want to tiptoe safely to the end. We want to live a
Yes.
full, abundant lifestyle.
Absolutely. And those are all wonderful examples that we all, each and every one of us, have limitless potential.
Yep.
We have
Yep.
limitless potential. We just need to make that decision and then follow it up with action.
Yep.
So powerful. Yeah. So, what would you say are 3 habits that you would recommend changing immediately in order to foster a successful life?
The first one is really watch your thoughts the moment you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So we take 90% of the thoughts from today into tomorrow. So if you're having
Mm-hmm.
a bad day today and you're not feeling successful and you're saying, "Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow," the likelihood of doing it tomorrow is not very high. So what I've
Right.
done is I have a sticky note over my bed and I wrote this out. All is well. I'm having fun. I feel endless joy. I see clearly. I live a flexible lifestyle. I feel free and fun. I am well-being. I feel exhilarated and I'm full of passion. And I repeat
Wow.
this every single morning. I have a slanted ceiling also in my bedroom, and I put a sticky note. So as soon as I open my eyes, it's there.
Yeah.
And now I've actually memorized this that I do it before my eyes even open. So it's the first thing. I'm setting the tone for my day. That's number one, and I
Absolutely.
think probably the most important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude. Pen to paper every single morning. Have a specific gratitude journal. Go out and get, a fancy journal or but it has to be pen to paper. It can't be in your computer or anything. There's something magical about when you put pen to paper. So gratitude
Mm-hmm.
every single morning. And I always read with coffee. That's my
Yeah.
non-negotiable. It's what makes me truly happy. It makes me start my day. So I ensure that I creep out of bed before the dogs can hear me because I don't have kids, or my husband hears me, and I come in here and I sit with a book and I enjoy my coffee. And that is my
Yeah.
non-negotiable.
Oh, that's amazing. And such good tips. And they sound so simple and so easy, but people don't do it, right? We just don't do it. We
Yeah.
don't take what we think is going to take so much time that we don't
Yeah.
have the time, but you really do. You just need to make yourself a priority.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And time
that's
time
great.
is time is not on our side. And we
Mhm.
all have the same time in a day, right?
Yes.
So this is, I do hear that I don't have enough time a lot, but imagine how
Mhm.
much time you could have if you just took this 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yes.
I started
Mhm.
off with 60 minutes a day. Now I'm 4 hours,
Yeah,
so like it's beautiful. And we are
it is beautiful.
conditioned, right? We're conditioned. So when you wake up, if the first thing you do is go to your phone and check to see who's messaged you, or you're checking emails, then it just spirals because now you've checked that email, you have to respond to this one, then you have to respond to that one, then you got to check this message, then you got to scroll through and comment on everybody's post 3 times, and it's just the day's gone. But
Yes.
if you condition yourself to slow down, to power down, I no longer take my phone to my bedroom. There are no
Mhm.
electronics. There's nothing in my bedroom except our humidifier. That's it. There's
Yeah.
no cell phones. There's no TV. There's not even an alarm clock. Nothing comes in our bedroom. And then, so when I wake up, I can't just reach for my phone. Because if your
Right.
alarm is on your phone, that's the first thing you're reaching for,
Exactly.
right? And
Yeah.
everybody uses the alarm on their phone. But if you put it
Mhm.
away, like downstairs, it forces you to get up, go downstairs. Now you're awake. Nobody else is awake yet. Go enjoy your coffee. Hi, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
So, you talked about time, right? And how everyone always says that they just don't have time. And that sometimes is a reason or a barrier or an excuse that people come up with in terms of why they don't make a decision to kind of invest in themselves. Another one that I often hear all the time is money, right?
Mhm.
And so, I don't have the money at this point in time. Maybe a few months from now, I'll be in a better position, and I'll have the money in order to be able to invest in myself. And then, a few months from now comes and it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So what would you tell that person who feels a calling to jump in, who really wants to invest in themselves, but money is a concern? What would you tell that person?
Well, you're in this group for a reason. You're in this
Mm-hmm.
group because you want to make money. That is why you're here. You are following people who have seen success. You're following Sabrina, you're following Kathleen, you're following me, you follow Tony Robbins. You come into these groups because what you're currently doing is not working. You've been trying
Right.
for a year, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. Like, when does it stop? Right? If we let money hold us back, like, for instance, you go to school and pay $100,000 for an education, and everybody claps when you go across that
Yes.
stage. You get your piece of paper, and then you get your bill for $100,000 that you're going to spend the rest of your life paying off. Student debt is not forgivable. You can go
Mm-hmm.
bankrupt, but that student loan will not roll in with that bankruptcy. You can get
Yeah.
married and spend $40,000 and everybody claps and says, "Oh my gosh, congratulations. What a beautiful 4 hours that I got to spend with you." So you spent
Yes.
$40,000. That's $10,000 an hour. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
job. Should you have that job? Or you buy a house for $500,000 and you spend 30 years paying it off, and everybody says congratulations. You have no
Yeah.
fears, no doubts, no worries that you are going to come out at the end with something. But in
Mm-hmm.
all realism, we hand off all of that debt to our children when we're gone.
Yes.
You spend your entire life paying off this debt that we were conditioned to believe is what we are supposed to do. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to spending 10, 20, 30, $50,000 on personal development, we put our brakes on because it's not normal. Nobody else
Right.
does it, right? But that $10,000 turns into $100,000 in less than a year. Or that, you
Yes.
know, Kathleen paid $50,000 and she made $3 million in a year, right? And I know, Sabrina, I
Yes.
know you're doing very well too. So until we anchor it to something, because it's not the norm, we'll never move forward. But you'll never know
Yeah.
unless you try, because what you're currently doing isn't working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So step
I love it.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's the one thing that you honed in on is, we're so worried about the societal expectations. And when you immerse yourself in this material, you realize that societal expectations don't define you.
Yep.
They don't define you. What defines you is you.
Yep.
And you have a choice of how you want to choose to live your life.
Yep.
And I think that's what's most powerful.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes was like a man was asked, when did you know you were successful? And he says, when I was living in my car.
Mm.
Right? So there's so many homeless people. We have a woman who was homeless with her 4 kids at the beginning of the year. She spent
Yeah.
every last penny of her tax return. She has an eviction notice. Instead of
Yeah.
paying that, she paid into this community. She's in a 4-bedroom house. She put her kids into private school. She makes $50,000 a month. She purchased Christmas for families in need. Like, could you imagine if she didn't do this?
I
She'd
know.
still be homeless.
I know.
You just have to have faith in knowing that it's all going to work out. If you have a true desire, you're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. You're in this community with Sabrina for a reason. You're following her for
Mhm.
a reason. There's a reason why universe, divine spirit, God, whatever you believe in, put you here. You
Yeah.
called for help, and this is the
Hmm.
answer.
Oh, that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I'm curious to hear, what would you tell your younger self, Sara?
I would say I wish you would have started sooner,
Yeah.
but I would also tell her that life is beautiful. and that everything is going to work out, and that you are strong, you are fearless, you are confident, you are magnificent, and you are a powerful creator.
Oh my gosh. You just gave me goosebumps. I talk about goosebumps a lot in this community. Yeah. Yeah, those are powerful. When you feel
They
the
are.
bumps, that's powerful, right?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What would be your last impression or piece of advice that you want this community to hear from you, from the Sara Easterbrook?
Don't don't wait. Like stop waiting. You deserve this. You deserve to put yourself first. It is not selfish. It is not selfish to put yourself first. So you deserve this.
Wonderful. You heard it from Sara. So, what I want to say is, first of all, Sara, thank you so much for taking the time to come in here. I, firmly believe there was so much value in everything that you shared, and just being vulnerable and talking about your experience and making it real for people so that it's relatable. So, I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you for that.
Thank you. It's my absolute pleasure.
Yeah. So, what I'm going to say for my community in terms of homework for them, you talked about the 3 habits that you would recommend immediately changing. And so, I am going to say to everyone their homework, I want them to comment at least one habit that they are going to take on today. So, that was watching your thoughts first thing when you wake up in the morning, gratitude, and reading personal development. And
Yeah.
so that is the homework for everyone. So thank you for sharing that, Sara.
You're welcome. Thanks, Lorraine. Thanks for
Oh,
jumping on.
thank you so much, Sara. You have yourself a fabulous day. It was so good to see you.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye.